Hello guys, it's your boy eFootball Goat. I'm back again. So guys, today we are going to be talking about the best midfield combo in the game. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment and share, and stay safe out there. So guys, we are going to be starting with the 4-3-1-2 formation. So before I start, the first thing you need to do when training your midfielders, be it defensive midfielder or a central midfielder, is to pay attention to the kind of start you give them. For example, when training your defensive midfielders, you have to make sure you give them a very good defensive attributes. So when training your defensive midfielders, make sure that defensive awareness is good, make sure that tackling is good, make sure that aggression is good, and make sure that defensive engagement is good, and make sure at least that low pass is also good. So when training your defensive midfielders, this is what you pay attention to give them, because it will be vital while playing the game. And when training your central midfielders, make sure you give them a very good ball control, a very good dribbling, a very good tight possession, a very good low pass and lofted pass. These are what you give your central midfielders. Is very, very important. And when training your AMF, make sure you give them a good offensive awareness. Make sure you give them a good ball control. You give them a good dribbling, tight possession, low pass and lofted pass. So if they have finishing, is the added advantage. So having said all this, now let's talk about the midfield combination. When it comes to the defensive midfielder, you can use a boss-to-boss player like Vieira with a good defensive attributes. A good passing is very, very good. But the problem with boss-to-boss Vieira is he goes forward a lot. Sometimes he goes locking around in the opposition box. He goes forward. So that is why I have an anchorman. I have an orchestrator in the person of Rijkaard. Rijkaard is an orchestrator. He's the kind of defensive midfielder that doesn't push forward until you use him to drive forward. So you can either use Rijkaard, Kimmich, Busquets. This kind of defensive midfielders, they don't move an inch until you move them forward. You drive them with the ball forward. Otherwise, they sit deep to support defense. So in this very formation, I use boss-to-boss Vieira because I love his defensive engagement and I can control him. I know how to use him. But if you prefer defensive midfielder who sit very, very deep, use an orchestrator on anchorman. So when it comes to the central midfielders, like I said earlier, make sure that passing is there. Beckham has one of the best pass in the game. The low pass and the lofted pass is wonderful. So make sure the passing is good. So once they have this passing, they can distribute the pass to your AMF or to your CF if they don't feel like giving to AMF. And sometimes this CMF act as your winger. They go forward, they go wide sometimes. And when they go wide, they can easily cross the ball to your center forward to score. So that is why they need to have that dribbling, that tight possession, and that passing is very, very important, because they need it to distribute the ball to your center forward or AMF. And your AMF needs to be very, very good offensively, because he's literally acting as your second striker. Sometimes your center forward might go wide, like Ronaldo going to the right wing and Rumi going to the left wing. This leave your AMF as your first nine, and then they can operate as your striker. So them having a good finishing is also good, so they can score. So that is when having a good offensive awareness is very important. So make sure they have a very good offensive awareness when training them. I already did a video on how to train players. You can check out the videos and know how to train your players. So, and again, make sure they fit into the kind of manager you are using. You can give them possession attribute, at least increase that. If they're using the possession manager, give them the at least 80 possession or more. So, but if you don't feel like, you can go ahead and train them, but our advice is to give them a possession game, a possession play style. Give them that, increase it to at least 80 or more. So, and again, avoid using two same play style in the midfield. For example, Iniesta is a whole player. So I will advise you not to use another whole player on the other side. So it's best you use any type of play style. So I'm using a cross specialist. So, and he's a whole player. So I will advise you not to use two whole players in the midfield. At least you can use a boss to boss orchestrator, anchorman here, and you can use a whole player here or creative playmaker who is a midfielder. So avoid using two same kind of central midfielders is not advisable. So that is it on this very formation. So what if we change our formation to 4-1-2-3? So in the 4-1-2-3 formation, what will happen here is now we are using 2 AMF instead of 2 central midfielders. So what will happen here is you also have to make sure the AMF you are using here is very, very good with passing, is advisable. Actually, the offensive awareness need to be good, but I didn't give him a very good offensive awareness. But that aside, looking at the ball control, dribbling, tight possession, low pass and lofted pass, even finishing is very, very good. So make sure the AMFs you are using here is very, very, very good. So in Nest already, you can play as a CMF, you can play as AMF, he's a whole player, so he's very, very versatile. So make sure you don't use 2 creative playmakers as AMF, and make sure you don't use 2 whole players as AMF. At least 1 creative playmaker, 1 whole player, different play style. That will be perfect. And here you can go ahead and replace Vieira with an anchorman or orchestrator. This will, because he's the only defensive midfielder here. Because if he goes forwards unnecessarily, it might expose your backline. But this anchorman orchestrator, they sit deep. So this will give you more protection, because right now there is no longer any central midfielder or anything guiding him. So now he's just left alone to do the work, stopping any attack that goes through the defensive midfield position or from flank to cut into the boss, the CB side. So, but if you know how to use the Vieira, you can go ahead and use the Vieira. Like me, I know how to use him. So guys, that is it on how to do your midfield combo. I hope this video helps you. The next I'll be doing is the center forward combo. See you guys in my next video, and stay safe out there. Peace out.